So Nicola, how are you, sir? Lovely to see you.
It's a pleasure for me as well, as always, and I'm extremely good. I have to say, we are in that moment of the year when we start rolling and rocking, and so yeah, a lot of excitement. Yep.
I'm super excited because I just got a notification that I'm up for the vaccine in Singapore. So as soon as I get vaccinated, bro, second shot, I'm coming out to visit you.
Yeah, that's cool. Lucky you, man. I mean, still waiting. I'm still in the list, and I don't know honestly when it's gonna happen for me. So yeah, but well, that sounds good, and I'm so much looking forward to get back to some kind of normality and be able to travel and see people and come to see you. And come again to Singapore, so we finally have a lunch together instead of, this is good, but there's always better.
One of the things we've discussed in the past is that I feel tattoo artists are some of the most important contemporary artists in the world today. My tattoo artist named Carlos Torres, he has a 3-year waiting list. 50 Cent had all the tattoos on one arm lasered off to get re-tattooed by him. But there is one tattoo artist that I think is probably the most famous in the world and the most sought after in the world, and his name is Dr. Wu. Have you heard of him, sir?
Well, I have to say, yes, I have heard about him, and actually I've met him pretty recently. You know the story we told you a few days ago. I mean, we've been looking, it's a while that we are trying to expand this new universe at Roger Dubuis, and a new universe where art in all its forms can be part of it. And, we do believe that the tattoo is an art, and it's a different way of expressing yourself. And, at Roger Dubuis, we are all about being able to express ourselves. So what's better than connecting with one of the most celebrated tattoo artists in the world? Not only because, he's very well known. He's very well known actually because he kind of twisted a little bit the art of tattooing, finding his own specific style. And this is what we love in the way he expresses the tattoo art with a different angle, with a different touch. And we connected a few months ago, and then we continued the discussion. What's cool about all this connection is that once again, we connect on ideas, we connect on a vision, we connect on the spirit of what the Maison has been doing quite from the beginning of its history. And everything has to do with the 3 values we are repeating in the last few weeks and months, which are pleasure, madness, and freedom. So he really married the idea, he really married the concept of what Roger Dubuis is all about. And that's why, once again, I think that is going to be a great way of expressing ourselves together. And then we said, what do you think about trying to interpret some part of the world of Roger Dubuis with your way of seeing things? We love perspectives. We love these different approaches to life and to representing life. And this is exactly what we're going to do together. So he's going to enter our tribe. He's going to start being a friend of the brand. And then we're going to see together how we evolve that into something more tangible in the next few months.
That's amazing. What I love about him also is, as you were saying, he is an innovator in terms of the way he tattoos and how he depicts the imagery in his tattoos using very clean, very pure, very elegant lines. And I'm only beginning to imagine from the perspective of what the collaboration could be, maybe something related to your amazing skeletonization or what have you. It's very interesting. It's very exciting for me.
I can't tell you much about the future, also because we are in the middle of the creative process. And as we just said, we are dying to be able to meet him in person, which has not been possible given the situation. And we're going to explore. That's the beauty also of the thing. I mean, this idea of gathering people so that they can experiment and explore different way of expressing themselves within, the connection with the different industries, different arts, different ways of doing things. We were discussing recently about the fact that watchmaking has been celebrated and nominated as an art by UNESCO that must be protected as the patrimony of humanity. Let's then connect the art of watchmaking with the art of tattooing and see where we get. And this is going to be something amazing as always. We say we have fun at Roger Dubuis. That's exactly the way we have fun together with our friends and with our tribe.
Amazing. So this is the year in which a major icon of yours has been redesigned. I've seen it already. It's the Excalibur, and I have to say I love the watch. You know, I love the fact that you've made it. You've kept the identity, probably refined and enhanced the identity, made it even more three-dimensional. At the same time, made it much more wearable, slimmer, and ergonomic. Tell me about the process.
Well, it's been a long process, as you can imagine, and the idea of reinventing or reshaping an icon is always something very complicated. We started, as I said, months ago with this idea of evolving what we already have. It's not a revolution; it's an evolution. In this case, where we go along, the way industrial design is evolving in a way, and so playing with different ideas, with different codes compared to what was the origin of Excalibur. Excalibur was born at the very beginning, in the very first days of the history of Roger, and Roger was actually there. And it was, we were playing with a different identity, with different curves, with a different way also of manufacturing watches. All the developments of the last few years brought us to this possibility of playing with different design codes, but also of enhancing the way we manufacture things. Now we got to these tense lines with this completely different approach to the volumes. And that's why, we were saying, for example, the volumes in total, I mean, the thickness and the size of the watch are exactly the same as before, but the visual aspect, what we convey as a total design of the watch is totally different today. We pushed ourselves even further because it's not just a redesign of the case and a redesign of the movement, but it's an enhancement. As always at Roger Dubuis, we put function at the service of aesthetics. Here we wanted to reach an incredible aesthetics in terms of finishings, in terms of the look of the movement, and at the same time, we have enhanced the features of this movement. We played with new materials. We played with new finishings. We played with a different way of doing things. It's really a completely new movement, which, if possible, even resolves some of the little things that we had to resolve in the previous single flying tourbillon. The result, let me say, is a stunning piece that I had the luxury of wearing for a few days. As the CEO, I get the luxury of testing our watches in advance, and it's an amazing timepiece to have on the wrist. Everything is perfect. And so let me say that I'm super proud about what the team has been doing in the past few months and years, because I really think we have something stunning here.
Yeah, what I was so impressed with was the conversation I had with you and Greg about how you've taken sort of like architectural motifs. So for example, the motif that you see that's in the bezel, and that's also part of the index, which is also part of the design of the hand, which is also part of the design of the star, and also obviously the texture that you have in the crown. So what you have is this sort of like repetitive pattern in different ways where it looks super complicated, but at the same time, when you look at it, it's very pleasing to the eye.
Absolutely. This idea of these two lines that go towards the infinite, they never connect, goes from the notches of the top ring, of the bezel. They are repeated in the inner ring, and then you find that in the hands, you find that in the star, you find that pretty much in every part of the watch. It's all about consistency. It's all about the codes of Roger Dubuis, which come back and are combined and restyled in a different way. We kept a few things which are very important for us. The three lugs is one of the codes that we want to keep always. This bezel, this fluted bezel with the notches, is another key thing that we think identifies very well our icon. And then we play with that. We updated that into the design of the rest of the watch. And I think, as I said, the result is extremely harmonic, while at the same time conveying a message of perfection in the way every single part of the movement and the watch has been finished. We play with light, and the way to play with light with a metal timepiece is that of using different finishings. The light goes into the watch, goes into the case with different angles. Hitting the material where it's polished or is brushed or is sandblasted in a different way, so that suddenly you reach that different levels. You play with the depth of every single surface so that it comes out in a really complex shape, but extremely harmonious.
Amazing. You know, we've looked primarily at the single tourbillon version of that, but let's also discuss the icon of Roger Dubuis, which is the double tourbillon, double flying tourbillon. And tell us a little bit about this signature star-shaped bridge, which now appears to almost be floating on top of the movement.
Very good point. Well, we call it astral skeleton at Roger Dubuis, and it's been a symbol of our skeletonization or our skeletonized movement since the very beginning. Once again, we have evolved it. Before, it was really part of the movement. And today, once again, because we think that function is at the service of aesthetics, we decided to raise it and detach it, especially on the double flying tourbillon from actually the movement. Now we have a flying barrel in the double flying tourbillon, and the star is now levitating above the barrel. It's not a functional element anymore, but it's a decoration element. And that's because we wanted to play with all the angles, with all the surfaces of this star, always adhering to the Poinçon de Genève, the Geneva seal. So working with them in understanding how we could evolve the different finishings from the original perlage and the old, let's say, old style techniques into something that will convey exactly the same kind of feeling, but more updated in terms of contemporary spirit. And here we are. As you said, we started with a double flying tourbillon because it's the most complicated movement, which we updated as well. We have a new lubrication. We center the differential. We play with the barrel, which now is a flying barrel. We played with the materials of the two cages of the tourbillon and with the tourbillons, so that now we do have a part of the tourbillon which is in titanium and a part of the tourbillon which is in cobalt chrome. That to go in the direction of avoiding magnetism, which for a skeletonized timepiece, as you can imagine, can be a problem because everything is open, so it's not protected. The result is a better functionality of the movement. It's a longer power reserve. So a lot of new features that enhance, if that was possible, the icon and the best movement of our maison.
You know, and let's keep this image up for a second, Sumit. Like I have to say, I love this watch. And it kind of took me a little bit of a while to kind of completely wrap my head around hyper horology. But I think this is a really good expression of it, right? So I agree with you. Like, I think that Roger Dubuis has to be, you know, function at the service of aesthetics, because again, you're trying to create something that from a visual perspective is just mind blowing. But the level of integrity and the level of quality you have in terms of the underlying technical value is incredible to me. So, you know, you've changed the material of your tourbillon cages. I think the lower cage now is titanium. The upper cage is cobalt chrome, which is also a material that's proprietary to you as well. You've, you know, improved the differential. And then I love this. So, you know, before it was this star-shaped bridge, which was retaining the barrel, and the gear train was became effectively your dial. But I love the fact that now, and you still have a star-shaped bridge, it's just underneath, and it's still skeletonized, it's just underneath. But you took this and made it like this incredibly sort of like daring visual element that projects upwards, which at the same time, you know, I like the fact that you mentioned it's not functional, it's aesthetic, which is cool, but it compels you to have to do something super innovative, which means you have to have a suspended or flying barrel, which is a barrel that's only mounted on one point, which is, you know, one of the most, it's a challenging thing to accomplish. And so you have a flying barrel and two flying tourbillons with their results averaged by differential, and it's Geneva seal. It's sick, dude. I love it, you know?
Oh, we love so much to put everything into it, and we love to challenge ourselves. Whenever, you know, Greg is quite amazing. Whenever we start saying, okay, that's going to be complicated, then he goes and he says, okay, let's do it, and that's where trouble starts, you know, because I have to say it's not always possible. We push ourselves. You know, this is really the point. If we go back to the story of the brand, to the beginning of the brand. You know, Roger Dubuis himself, he was convinced that we had to do the best possible things, the best possible movements in the best possible way. That's the what and the how. Now we are answering to the why as well. And the why for us is that we have to do things in a different way. So if we connect all that into the purpose of Roger Dubuis today could be to go beyond in a specific direction, that of expressive and contemporary haute horlogerie. And all that into the double flying tourbillon.
Yes.
The craftsmanship, you have the techniques, you have ideas, you have the aesthetics. Everything has been concentrated in one unique timepiece. And I have to say, you know, that the double flying tourbillon was launched now a couple of months ago. The first edition was 8 pieces. I'm quite amazed to say that they sold out. It's finished, no more. And that shows that eventually our clients are understanding where we're going, and we have a growing number of followers. Our tribe is evolving and becoming bigger and bigger because, as I said, we're trying to do something unique. And this something unique, sometimes it's complicated to innovate because it requires an incredible effort and a little bit of courage. Sometimes the risk is that of not being understood, of not being liked. And, it looks like our message is getting out there, and we have more and more followers who like our different way of doing watchmaking. We're not classic, we're not the past, we are reinventing a little bit the rules, and that's exactly what we stand for.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it now, and it's like wild and innovative and free-spirited, but at the same time, there's such underlying value and authenticity to it, which I totally get. So another thing I want to talk to you about is about Luminous light signature, because I think you guys kind of pioneered this with the twofold, right? Where you basically have a watch that in the dark has a completely different light signature, And it's funny also because thinking about it, right? Like guys who wear your watches, Richard Milles, like all those kind of watches, they probably spend at least 50% of their life in the dark, right? Like in nightclubs, for example, or like.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, especially our clients, I cannot say much about the others, but they have fun. They have fun daily and nightly.
Yes.
They live. And they want the maximum. And, you were mentioning light, and I go back to the history of watchmaking. A way to play with light on a metal timepiece, as I said before, was that of using different finishings. But things evolve, and materials evolve. And we want to be able to play with different materials, also because we want to please our clients with something new, and at the same time still playing with these lights, that can be, in this case, can be conveyed with different elements. And the element we found was, has been different in the last couple of years. We played with sapphire nanotubes, which were treated to react to UV light. And we played with superluminova in all the possible forms, also inventing new things. Here we have patented a way to apply superluminova on inclined surfaces. We have found a way to put superluminova inside the rubber for the strap. And so all that, once again, allows us to have a piece that the day is something, the night is something different. And that plays with the duality of the brand. Each one of us has two different sides. And Roger Dubuis has really two different sides. You can see that in many things, technology and tradition. For example, there are plenty of ways in which we have a dual soul. And why not? Our clients want to have that thing as well. At the end, the watch is something they use to express themselves. And they go out the day, they go out the night. It's also something that tells that they are different from everybody else. And with a Roger Dubuis, I can tell you, you are different from everybody else, day and night.
I love it, and I think the ultimate expression of this watch is got to be the new Glow Me Up, right? And I love this also because you've also taken the diamond elements, and so I think you have found a way to insert luminous material inside of the diamonds, into the grooves that are made into the diamonds, so that during the day it looks like, or in bright light, it looks exactly like the highest quality diamond set watch. But as soon as you go into the darkness, the diamonds are lighting up, and not just lighting up, but they're lighting up in multicolors as well. Tell us about this.
Well, that to me is the coolest of the concept. Once again, my team has been working quite amazingly in finding something. Well, let me tell you, the idea was, okay, the diamonds are beautiful during the day, but half of the day you lose completely the beauty of diamonds because of, light is missing. So first ideas were, how do we put some kind of energy, some kind of light behind the diamonds? And clearly that will go into inserting batteries, things which is not really Roger Dubuis. And then when we started working with the twofold, when we started working with this idea of using superluminova, luminous in different parts of the watch, and when we created the Superbia with this invisible setting all around this new cuts of sapphire and diamonds, we said, okay, but what if we use the grooves and we play with some material inside the grooves to light the diamonds when there is no light? And that was the whole concept behind it. We tried, we experimented, we connected with different partners, and we were not, let me tell you, a week ago, we were not sure to be able to make it happen. And it's fun because we had the commercial team, we had the production team who came to us and said, we didn't know about this. You're talking about the press about this watch, and we didn't even know. It was a total secret concept we were developing, and suddenly we started seeing the first pictures. We saw the first watch. Boom! It was done. And so, well, here we are. We have something pretty amazing. We are trying to patent that because I think it's quite a revolutionary idea and concept, and it will give us the possibility to express ourselves even more. As you said, we can play with colors. We can play with the refraction of the light in a different way. We need to make sure that the diamonds have the perfect cut, because that's important. Otherwise, the refraction of the light will give a different shape to the way the diamonds will shine at night. And so it's going to be still quite a work to achieve the final result. But we have seen the first samples a couple of days ago, and it looks stunning. So really, once again, really proud of the team, and Greg's team does amazing things.
I can't wait to see it in person. Nicola, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Wei. It's always my pleasure, and it's always my pleasure to talk about Projet Dubuis, because the world has to know the crazy things we're doing.
Fantastic.